Roll 40.
Welcome to the finals for YCS Tokyo, Japan 2024. This is actually very interesting because this is going to be Tenpai versus Voiceless. You see Tenpai not starting off the best here with the set 3. Oh man, and no dragon. That means we're not going to see heretic seals or anything here. We see the pass over to our Voiceless voice opponent here. You're going to see the pre-prep coming on down here. You're going to see, is this our first hand trap of the game? Ashing this is, yep, there's the Ash Blossom for the pre-prep. Honestly, a very solid call there. You don't want that to actually resolve because that card will start generating some pretty unfair advantage here, and that's not what you want to see. We do have a low coming down here. Oh boy, it means free barrier into the free Rhoda for the rest of the duel. Yeah, you do see the barrier coming up off of the low here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to trigger it, and we're going to activate one of our nice little cosmic cyclones we have face down on this barrier, taking care of the little pesky problem that we had. So the first barrier has been outed. Alright, mission accomplished. Now Tenpai gets the game back to their turn safely, unless our opponent just has some gas to kind of continue on along with the day here, which we've seen it. We know how good this deck can work some days. Voiceless Voice just is so crazy for being able to pull out some stuff. So you do see the pass turn on over to our opponent here. More bricks. Can we nope, just pass turn on over to our opponent, and they still have a low on the field. Great. That means there's another pre-prep coming on down. There's another Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring cutting off the pre-prep. Okay, I guess we just have everything. There's another low coming on down here. Means another barrier is about to spawn. Go ahead and trigger. Go ahead and grab our second barrier from the deck. That way we can continue to play the game. Alright, yep. Just calculating here to ensure that barrier is the correct choice. It's always the correct choice. You obviously don't have another one in your hand. Alright. I mean, you can do something with 2 lows. You know, you have the access to the Lingaribo here as well, for sure. But you want to make sure that, you know, alright, we have the non-targeting protection up. Mission accomplished. There's our second Cosmic Cyclone. They opened double Ash, double Cosmic Cyclone for these barriers. That's actually kind of insane to actually see there. We've taken 2,000 damage on our own terms here, which, I mean, I guess we're going to go ahead and turn this low on into a Lingaribo. Must be nice, OCG, that you get the chance to do that. You know, put that additional pressure on the opponent. We're going to go ahead and we're going to swing on in for a little bit of damage here with the Lingaribo and the the low. Got to get those 50 attack points in where you can. Alright, go ahead. Now we're going to make the SP Little Knight here. The grave is just nothing. See the SP here triggering, and the last face down was actually a Forbidden Droplet, which is actually kind of insane. Wow, they had such a board break hand here. You see the set 1 pass turn here on over to the opponent, and now we have to deal with an SP Little Knight. Technically a Chandra could deal with it. We could also see a Hydra would be pretty good into the Sengen Kaiman. You do see a set there from our hand. Oh boy, the bricks are real here. You do see the trap card being flipped here. Wow, they actually hard opened so much of the value for this that this is actually kind of nuts. Does this mean that we can start sculpting the hand here and finally, okay, we're put back the Sarvis. We're getting places here. Finally. This duel has, the fact that this is the finals and we're seeing draw passing like this. You do see the Saphira being added here, so we can start getting the dump action going. Alright. Alright. There's an Extrav going. Wow, they got the Extrav and they have the Saphira. That's actually insane value here going on into this. Alright, go ahead and get our free draw too. Ugh, this might be over already. Alright, there's the Saphira. And do we let this, do we have the third Ash? Are you kidding me? They opened up 3 Ash. We're on 1 face down card now. That's not really good. Well, we're taking some damage. What's actually really crazy about this is our opponent just drew those cards off of Extrap, and it doesn't look like they got anything really playable here, actually. So we just take the 16. We're at 4,050 life points. I mean, do we really care here? Alright, so the turn passes over to us. Do we finally get a Tenpai Dragon to be able to do something here? Like, oh, we got a Magna Hut. Well, that's something. Problem is here, you have Saphira down, you have double low, so going after a low with his Magna Hut doesn't really matter. I feel like you go after the Lingaribo at this point, so you don't have to worry about it, you know, attempting to pop itself on out of the graveyard, which I guess is... I guess that's the right call. It's a little bit rough. Yeah, we're going after the Lingaribo. You don't really want that thing being an interaction, but you see the Magna Hut triggering here. You do see the SP blinking on out here. Well, we do get a free Dragon Search here, which is actually pretty good. So, end phase. We're going to go ahead and we're going to trigger this Magna Hut here, which is actually going to get us into the latest Tenpai card here, which is actually a Pobbler. When added to the hand, this thing can actually special summon itself, and it actually has a quick effect that can warp itself out into any other Tenpai that you need, which is actually kind of cool. It gets the chance to lone fire itself, so you can actually turn this into a Fadra, a Chandra, you know, whichever the pieces that you actually need here along the way. So we're verifying, you know, if we're going to go ahead and trigger the special summon effect of this here. As we're continuing, we are going to go ahead and do so. This is where you're going to see this turn on in to a Pydra. Now, since we're still during the end phase here, the Pydra on summon will go ahead and trigger. We're going to get a nice little Sengen Kaiman here so that we can have at least a defensive play during the opponent's turn, so we can kind of set up some sort of value here so we don't actually end up dying to the random steamroll here. So, we've got the Pydra set up, we are getting our Magna Hut back here, and we have the set Kaiman and another face down unknown. All right, that's probably the best you could kind of hope for out here, considering, you know, we've been through 3 Ashes, 2 Cosmics, and all this other stuff. You do see the Blessing being activated here. Uh-oh, that's not good. That means that, the recurability and the additional Ritual Summon are actually very dangerous for Tenpai in this situation. Tenpai, it lives to steal games, but when it gets into the grind scenarios like this, it's bad. Oh, look, it's a free barrier coming on back to our hand off of the Blessing, which means the barrier is now on the field. We have the targeting protection, and we have our Rhoda back. So now we get access to either another low, a Skull Guardian, a Saphira. The toolbox is now endless for the things we're going to get. You're going to see the Skull Guardian being grabbed here. All right, you're going to see the Saphira being banished so that we can do a Ritual Summon. We're going to drop the Trice here. Now we have the Skull Guardian up. There's the low and the Skull Guardian chaining on up. That way we can chain block here. This is not ideal, actually. The fact that, you know, this low is going to be able to revive itself, and you're going to just be in an even worse position here. The search on this is actually more of a major problem than it should be, because that turns on into another ritual monster here. So you've got to make a major decision here. Do we do something with one of our face downs? If we can do something, you've also got to remember the Skull Guardian does have a negate. Alright, it would have to be Droplet to actually matter at this point. Alright, so we are resolving the chain here. Oh boy. That means this Skull Guardian's going to get this search, and this is going to turn into, okay, another Saphira. You do see the low popping on out here. We've got the Trinity up and running. Alright, the low is going to go ahead and trigger. What are we grabbing? Another barrier. Yep, make sure you have both up and running. There's no real point not to make sure, especially at this stage, to make sure your opponent can't do anything else to them. You know, are we going to send the trap to eat the back row while the Skull Guardian's up? It's actually not a terrible play here. I actually kind of like that. Yep, okay, we're going to send the trap. We're going to target that. So we do know the other one is the Sengen Kaiman, which we can handle with the Skull Guardian. And you are going to see the chain on the Droplet. We are going to eat the Pydra here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to negate the Skull Guardian, which actually wasn't a terrible choice there. You're going to go ahead and we're going to Saphira away. Go ahead and dump off. Grab a second Skull Guardian here. It's going to be very important for what's going to happen here in just a second, as soon as the Sengen Kaiman's going to be involved here. We're also going to be linking those off here in a second. He was getting a couple steps ahead of themselves here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to tuck back to, we're going to summon out the Saphira. The Saravis. This Saravis is going to warp into the bigger Saravis, which is going to put more of a problem on the opponent here, and which is the Blessing. It's going to drop another Skull Guardian on the field here in a little bit, which is going to cause some more problems here, just to kind of verify. So now, do we blow the Sengen Kaiman here, which you kind of have to make the decision if you're going to, or get negated out by the Skull Guardian, which you're just in a massively losing position at 4,050 life points. Unfortunately, the writing's on the wall at this point, and we are, it's Sengen now or never, and we're going to go ahead and trigger the Sengen Kaiman. The Saravis is going to bounce on back to the hand. You are going to see the Saravis pop on out here. The Sengen Kaiman is going to resolve here. We're going to go ahead and get this. Since a special was occurred, there's the Skull Guardian. And, man, I hate to tell you this, but that is all they wrote here. We're going to go ahead and give them more than enough damage. Go ahead and link on into the Dynamondo. Go ahead and kick the Magna Hut back into the deck. And congratulations. Swing on 4 game. Congratulations to Voiceless, Voice for winning. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.